America, an immigrant nation. People came from all over the world to what is now the United States, driven by a combination of economic opportunities and religious and political freedom. The New World was seen as a land of opportunity, with vast tracts of land available for farming, settlement, and resource extraction. They came for the promise of land ownership, economic self-sufficiency, and a better life for their families. These initial waves of immigration laid the foundation for the diverse and complex society that would eventually develop in the United States. During the 19th century, the requirements for immigration to the United States were relatively minimal compared to modern standards. The U.S. generally had an open-door policy for most of the century, especially before the 1880s. By the end of the 19th century, immigration had become more regulated, controlling who could enter the country. The 20th century saw significant changes and developments in U.S. immigration policy, reflecting shifting attitudes towards immigrants and the needs of the country. Immigration requirements became increasingly stringent over the century, moving from relatively open policies to more regulated and restricted ones. Arriving immigrants underwent medical and legal inspections to ensure they were healthy and had the means to support themselves. Those with contagious diseases or deemed likely to become a public charge were denied entry. The Personal Responsibility and Work Opportunity Reconciliation Act, PR-WORA, in 1996 made a significant change affecting immigrants' access to public funds. It restricted many legal immigrants from accessing federal benefits, such as Medicaid and food stamps. For the first 5 years of their residency in the U.S., undocumented immigrants were barred from most federal benefits entirely. Several states began implementing their own policies, allowing the use of state funds for benefits to undocumented immigrants, particularly in areas like education and healthcare. With this recent wave of an estimated 10 million undocumented immigrants, all these requirements, including not having a contagious disease and financial support, are being ignored. As a result, this is having a profound impact on every aspect of society, from the economy, public services, cultural dynamics, and politics. This is especially true within the state of California. California, a sanctuary state. The influx of low-income, uneducated, undocumented immigrants is having a profound financial burden on the state and local governments, driving up the costs of providing essential services like education, healthcare, and social support. At the same time, these immigrants are not significantly expanding the tax base due to their lower earnings and the associated lower income tax contributions. This creates a challenge for local and the state budget, particularly in a state like California that relies heavily on income tax revenue from high earners to fund its extensive public services. The unintended consequences of the sanctuary state. Sanctuary state policies are intended to protect undocumented immigrants and foster community trust, but they come with a range of unintended consequences. These include potential strain on law enforcement, economic and legal challenges, increased social and political polarization, and complex impacts on public safety. Some businesses may benefit from the availability of undocumented labor in sanctuary states, but there can also be tensions related to wage suppression and job competition. For the 2024 to 2025 fiscal year, California is projected to face a budget deficit of approximately $68 billion. California has significant spending commitments in areas such as education, healthcare, social services, and infrastructure. The costs of these programs continue to rise, especially as a result of the influx of a large number of uneducated, undocumented immigrants, placing additional pressure on the state's budget. Do we have a housing shortage in Los Angeles County? The number of undocumented immigrants in the county has been estimated to range between 700,000 to 1 million. As of the latest data from the 2023 Greater Los Angeles Homeless Count, there are approximately 75,518 people experiencing homelessness in Los Angeles County. If you assume 4 to a household, undocumented immigrants are using from 175,000 to 250,000 homes. Therefore, if you could deport all undocumented immigrants, you could house all the homeless and at the same time cause a surplus of housing, driving down the cost of housing in Los Angeles County. Other costs to the taxpayer. In California, providing health care to undocumented immigrants is estimated to cost billions annually. For example, a study by the Legislative Analyst's Office estimated that expanding Medi-Cal, California's Medicaid program, to cover all low-income undocumented immigrants could cost the state approximately $2.4 billion per year. The average per-pupil spending in California for K-12 education is approximately $20,000 per student annually as of the 2022-2023 school year. This figure includes costs for teachers, school facilities, administrative expenses, and other related services. If we consider an estimated 75,000 to 100,000 undocumented children in Los Angeles County, based on various demographic studies and the size of the school-age population, and use the per-pupil spending of $20,000 per student, the annual cost of educating undocumented children in Los Angeles County is between $1.5 billion and $2 billion. What about the cost of labor? The presence of a large number of undocumented immigrants increases the overall supply of labor, particularly in sectors like agriculture, construction, hospitality, and food services. When the supply of labor exceeds demand, wages decrease, especially in low-skilled jobs where employers have more potential workers to choose from. Native-born workers, especially those with low education or skills, face increased competition for jobs, potentially leading to reduced wages or fewer job opportunities. Crime in Los Angeles. The alarming rate of increase in the illegal alien population in Los Angeles, 242% over the last 5 years, has a direct impact on police resources. Based on per capita expenditures, the cost of providing police services to illegal aliens in the city is $37,050,000 annually. While statistical data on crime committed by illegal aliens is not available, estimates are that illegal alien involvement in crime is increasing. Conclusion. Historically, many migrants came to the U.S. seeking the American dream, which often meant opportunities for economic advancement, personal freedom, and a better life for their families. They were motivated by the possibility of hard work leading to success, and many were willing to face significant challenges to achieve their goals. They did not get or expect a handout. The recent wave of 10 million undocumented migrants is still seeking a better life, despite the legal risks and challenges associated with entering and living in the U.S. without authorization. Unfortunately, many are coming because of the availability of free services and benefits in the U.S. This is playing a significant role in attracting illegal immigration. Undocumented immigrants aren't solely responsible for California's financial crises, but their presence is pushing the state over the financial cliff. They have added to the demand for public services, such as education, healthcare, and infrastructure, which is straining state resources, especially when those resources are already stretched thin. Given that the negatives of mass illegal immigration outweigh the positives, why do states like California and others choose to be sanctuary states? Could the answer be that a group of elites in government and industry are intent on transforming the nation from a constitutional republic to a socialist system akin to China's? To achieve this, they believe it is necessary to have a significant portion of the population remain dependent on the government. Or could it be that they believe in a borderless socialist world where workers can move freely and the end of nationalism? These elites believe they are citizens of the world and not citizens of the United States. According to the World Bank, around 689 million people live in extreme poverty. It is estimated that about 2 billion people live under some form of dictatorship or an authoritarian regime. We are sure the majority would love to come to the United States, where they would live in a free society with free food, housing, education, and medical care. Without borders, we would no longer be a nation. Unrestrained immigration would overwhelm resources and be unsustainable. The nation needs immigration to sustain growth, but controlled immigration based upon merit and need.